We've got some
Hey,
fresh new
I'm
young
Luis.
talent
And
doing
I'm
some
Luis.
things that I
And you're
know
listening
you
to the
haven't heard
Content is
before.
Profit podcast.
So, how do businesses and creators like us, who did not cheat and hacks and tactics and don't want to be stuck in the content wheel of death, how do we build a modern media team and profit from our content?
In this creators economy, pre-filled templates and content calendars have become the solution for those that are not willing to put in the work and build a real business. That's right. Those that get rewarded are the ones that create and control their process.
Content can be a distraction or your biggest lever. Here, you learn to develop the systems to create consistently, build trust with your audience, and get the attention of those that are willing to give you money.
Go to contentprofit.com to get started today and join the community. I definitely did not hit the money button on time.
Wow, that's a little rough. I made a little mistake in there at the top, but it's okay because you know how we roll with the punches. And today we're gonna be talking about. Well, actually, I just realized you
Don't
didn't
read
check.
that one.
Yeah,
Don't read that one.
Didn't change
read
that
the one in front of you.
Today we had to pivot. This is what I'm gonna say. Today we had to pivot,
Yes.
and that's why we're doing a solo episode. But we are talking about measuring things,
Yes,
right?
We're measuring,
Measuring for growth.
For growth specifically.
Yeah.
And why do we have to pivot? Okay, well, the guest that was supposed to come today is gonna come because it's incredible. I mean, what he has done is just magnificent. But he's gonna be coming on August 2nd. So what can we talk about today? And this is the wonderful thing about producing a show live, because we have to be on our feed and be on creator mindset all the time.
And we made the commitment. We made the commitment to show
Yes.
Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
So
we're here.
So let this be a lesson. I'm going to ask you a question. What is your plan B in case it doesn't go your way? Make sure you have a plan B in there. But anyways, we can just talk about plan B.
Let's get rolling with Tropic Thunder Wednesday.
Or Tropic Thunder Thursday on a Wednesday.
It's Tropic Thunder Thursday on a Wednesday.
I know. Okay, today, measuring for growth. This has been an important topic in the last few months, really, for us, right? As we continue to move forward with the company, continue to grow, continue to develop relationships, right? And
Absolutely.
I remember a while back listening to an episode with Russell, obviously, where he mentions, like, if you don't measure, like, if you don't see it, it won't grow, right? It was a story of him, trying to figure out how his email list is not growing ever, right? And it's like, and then he came to somebody and be like, okay, do you see the numbers every single day? And he's like, no. Well, that's the main reason. Like, how do I make it to grow? Just look at it every single day, right? And then from there on, every single entrepreneur that we've had conversations with, there's some sort of version of this, right? In their business. Like, if we don't see it, if we don't pay attention, it won't grow. And we've been on both sides of it. We've been on the side where we literally don't look at anything, right? And it doesn't. And then we are in the side of, okay, we actually need to pay attention. So why is that, Fonzie? Why is that?
Well, first of all, let me put the background music, because I was like, this music is so loud. It was the intro music, because we usually take like 3 minutes to do the intro.
Well, that's still good music, though.
It's all good.
It's still good
it's
music.
All good.
I don't know.
Repeat the question to me, my friend.
Wow, you can't multitask,
It's
man.
tough. It's tough to manage the board
No, it's
and
not
listening
tough,
to you
'cause
talk.
I do this all the time. So, wow.
It's a roasting episode. All right, tell me, what was the question?
No, the question was for like 5 minutes. Anyways, why do we actually have to pay attention to numbers, right? In general, right? In general in our business.
Well, you need to be able to stay on your feet, knowing exactly where you are standing, right? And be able to take decisions in regards to those numbers that you have in there. To that information is data. At the end of the day, you're collecting data, and then your actions, right? Depending of the path that you want to go, you're going to determine the next steps, right? And there's this thing that we read in Traction, which is the EOS system that we're implementing in our business. They talk about, they don't specifically say it like this, but they talk about trailing indicators and active indicators, right? And trailing indicators are those that you have and review later on, that it's already too late to take action towards, right? It's pretty much like, hey, this is what happened, and it is pretty much done. But what are those numbers, those active indicators that you can keep track of on a maybe daily basis, weekly basis, right? Something you're consistently monitoring, so then you spot if there's a trend on something, or something in there happens that indicates to you, you need to either do more of this or stop doing this, or find a new solution.
Yeah. So what did these questions came about today? You know, we've had a few conversations in the last few weeks with people that might be interested in the service, that might be interested in the consulting side of things with us, right? And it's funny because as we unpack on the content framework on how can we, you know, grow as a company utilizing content, there's many ways, right? And you know, we happen to offer one, which is the M2M system and content momentum. So happy, you know. Friendly plug if you want to be interested. If you're interested and want to reach out, just let us know.
If you want to be interested, be interested.
Be interested. Just reach out, and we're happy to share what that is. But one of the things that we see here is that as content creators, when we're first starting out, we are very short-sighted on the asset that goes out, like whatever, call it post, call it picture, call it video, right? We're so short-sighted on that one thing. And we're having this incredible call this morning, and we're going through some feedback. There's a side of the product that we developed for them, and they're like, I've seen the engagement go down significantly, right? And I'm like, that is normal, right? That's exactly like, and I'm like, define engagement, right? For you, what was the engagement, right? And it was more on the individual post thing, right? And again, this is no secret. We're high volume fans, right? We produce a show, and there's more than 400 pieces of content every single month coming out of the show for a very specific reason. We're trying to collect data. So as we publish that high volume, right, there's going to be places and moments where there's nobody watching, there's nobody interacting, but guess what? There's silent watchers, there's people, there's points of contact that are going to happen. And then when we looked at the overall data of the show, right, which means just the audio, the videos, the assets in Instagram, in Facebook, LinkedIn, like all the distribution channels, right, there's a trend that everything continues to grow. Right? So we chose to look at that number overall, and we're like, okay, how can we make that one number grow as a show, not just as a single post? That single post is just a feature, is just a cog in the machine that needs to be there to be able for the whole picture. So I'm asking you, what is your whole picture in publishing, right? It's not the one post that you put on Mondays at 9 a.m., right? That is a piece of a bigger thing, right? That then later will translate into sales in your business. So what we've seen is that people try to focus so much on that first point of contact with the content, which is, are people commenting, are people liking it, right? And then we get deflated because the truth is that when we're starting, that's not going to happen. I'm going to break it to you. That's not going to happen. But we got to be consistent somehow. So, okay, how do we break past that? For us, it was the fact that the show was a platform for us to develop relationships, right? So that's a very high quality point of contact with our dream relationships, our dream clients. So we're actually going to measure, right, the days and the times that we actually do the show 3 times a week, right? We're like, are we being consistent with those? Because every single interaction is a very high quality interaction that can lead to more on the back end of the business, whether that's a strategic partnership, whether that's a relationship, whether that's a client, whether that's just a referral source, right? There's a lot of wins here. So that's the one number that we're actually going to focus on production wise. Now, when you translate that into content that comes out of the show, what are we going to measure? Well, we're going to measure the overall performance of the entire universe of content. So I'm going to break it down. The entire universe is the main show, the audio, the behind the scenes, the Instagram assets, the Facebook assets, the LinkedIn assets, all that stuff. Now, how can we build on that? Well, we talk about the publishing pyramid, right? On how you can actually build your own framework for this. But for us, we didn't start there. We started with just the one show, and then it starts to grow. So as we produce more with less friction, capacity, because the team handles it, right? And that's the support, we can actually pump that to continue to see that number grow. So circling back to like, what are we measuring? Well, we got to pay attention to that number because we're going to receive feedback. Well, is it working or is it not working, right? So if it's working, we're going to do more of that. If it's not working, we got to change some things. That's my whole spiel.
I'm like, you got it. You got this thing. It's a solo episode.
FONZI was a spectator today.
It's a solo episode for my brother today. And yeah, absolutely.
What are your thoughts on that? Like, I feel like I riff a little bit, but I mean, I think I might be go into something.
My thoughts on measuring. I mean, first, I think it depends on the stage of where you're at, right? Obviously, measuring the needle movers for your business. So ask yourself, are likes and follows and stuff like that needle movers for your business? Let's be honest. Probably not, right? More of the business, the needle movers are, outreach, the sales calls that you're getting into, right? How many pieces of content you're putting out there. That's important. How consistent you are. So a big shift for us personally was when we started publishing. The thing that we measure was, are we actually producing the podcast 3 times a week? That is the one thing that we're measuring. We're measuring our action or consistency. And then once we had that, and we, like my brother said, we started getting our guests, is okay, are we, having these conversations, follow-ups, and, the rest of the cadence in there. But again, ask yourself, what do I need to measure right now in my business that is going to move the needle forward? When it comes to content, I would recommend start measuring first. If you are not consistent, is your consistency. Am I being consistent? Then on your business on the side, what are those metrics, that those key performance indicators that are helping you? Going back to Russell's story, his email list. He actually has in ClickFunnels a TV that always portrays the number of people in his email list, right? And is updated as people subscribe to it. Why? Because he wants to know. And I remember when we first started this entrepreneurial journey, I used to follow a lot Ty Lopez. I think he's absolutely he's a genius of a guy, genius of an entrepreneur. Whether you like him or dislike him, right? Regardless, he's a very smart dude. And one of the first things I remember him saying is, one of the first things I check when I wake up is my bank account. He's like, I just want to know how much money is in there, right? How much money is going out. Like, I just want to measure it, because if you don't measure it, it doesn't grow, right? And the same thing happens to our business. Sometimes we just get caught up in the day-to-day operations, just, head down, banging at the keyword, either trying to make some content, right? Or trying to fulfill for some clients. And we lose the bigger picture. We lose sight of the clarity of where we are going, which is key. Is something that we've been working really hard on in these last 3 months, is where are we going? What are the metrics that we need to measure that are going to help us there? And what that does is it gives you clarity on, are the actions am I taking supporting that journey, supporting those metrics, supporting that goal, that positive growth, right? So then when things start coming onto your plate, guess what? You start thinking in terms of, does this feeds good data to these metrics that I'm trying to, to track? Does these support the goal, the way that I want to go? If not, take it out of your plate. It's just a distraction, right? Move it aside and do the things that are going to help move the needle forward. So that's been a big revelation for us, because let's be honest, we used to just get busy, right? And we still do. I feel like we still do sometimes. A lot of times, we've been getting better at catching ourselves, right? At realizing that we're just playing busyness instead of doing business. And now we transitioned, right? We can say no to things because we know inside that is not going to help the goal, the transition where we're going. So again, measure those important things. Now, for me personally, one of my personal measures that I'm trying to do is the keeping track of the people that I'm connecting with, right? Increasing my network. That is a goal that I'm having. So how do I measure that, right? How many connections can I make in a week, right? Am I tracking that consistently?
I think for us, or for me, the biggest difference, if you put out like before and an after, right? Like you mentioned, being busy. I feel like as an entrepreneur, we think we're moving forward, right? So one is finding that external help that can have an objective view over what you guys are doing. So find somebody that you can share that. For us, we have a few mentors that we reach out to in these moments, right? And they help us see kind of the bigger picture. Just this morning, we're having a conversation about an idea that we had for like a citywide show style thing. And the question was like, is this really something that's going to move the needle for you guys, or is this a distraction, right? So that was like, oh, okay, well, that's good. Like, let's go back to the things that we established to measure. And just yesterday we established, was it 14 of those, right? That continuously we measured. Like we had an idea before, but it wasn't as clear. And we're like, okay, these are the 14 things that we're tracking every single week to make sure that we're taking action depending on that, like to move those things, right?
Should we read them real quick?
Sure.
Should we read them real quick?
Yeah.
I'm about to pull them up here in this super sweet, sexy looking document that we created. So here are the things that we're going to be tracking, right? Weekly revenue, weekly expenses, cash balance in bank, discovery calls, sales calls, close business, content momentum client calls, new emails, group members, and or CRM activity.
Yeah.
Right. So those are the metrics that are gonna tell us whether a business is growing or is dying.
Yeah.
And we're gonna check those on a weekly basis so we can start seeing trends, right? And it allows you to spot also where you're having issues, where you're being stuck, right? For example, if we discover that we have a lot of discovery calls, but we have very little sales calls, guess what? We're probably not connecting with the right type of people. So we're going to have to transition that strategy. We're going to have to look into who are we connecting with, right?
Maybe,
are we connecting for the right reasons?
Maybe adding some friction to the process or some
Exactly.
filters to the process to make sure that we're actually getting the right people in the right conversations.
Are we connecting in the right communities, right? With exactly the right amount of people. Maybe we're not qualifying them correctly before jumping on a call. And then set a new strategy, stick to it. Again, it's not going to happen in like a week. You got to do it consistently for a longer period of time. Test it, see the results, and then compare again, right? Do we have more sales calls now with that same amount of discovery calls that we did? And guess what? Success.
Success. But yeah, all right. So as we wrap up the show, we got 1 or 2 minutes left. Fast and Furious in today. I think it was fun.
Honestly, I like the Tropic Thunder Thursdays today on a Wednesday. But should we bring back Tropic Thunder Thursday? Let us know. Just send a message to us on DM at BIZBROS on Facebook, on Instagram. Also, if you want to learn how to turn your content into profit, right? If you have a long form piece of content and you want us to multi-purpose it for you, right? Help you have all those assets. Slide in the DMs as well.
Working for you, frictionless. So you don't have to worry about every single day posting, every single day, anything. Let us know.
I mean, they need to care about their business. They're worrying about their business.
I know, but they don't need to worry about they don't need to worry about the production.
But we're exactly.
That takes a lot of time and effort, and we got to figure out, guys.
And we're gonna be right there with you, supporting you. Just so you know, when you become part of the Content Momentum family, you're actually part of the mastermind, right? An inner circle group with our clients where we talk about this stuff, right? And we meet and we discuss goals and we set accountability goals for you guys to take action so we know you're moving forward. So again, if you're interested, if you want to learn more about it, just slide in the DMs at BIZBROS on Facebook, on Instagram. We'll be extremely happy to have a conversation with you.
Yeah, don't forget, also, we have the Facebook group. So come join, Content is Profit. Every Thursday, we jump in there with an awesome training. So if you want a little bit more of bro time in there, we're happy to share some bro time. So yeah, it's awesome. Happy Wednesday. Happy rest of your week. I hope you enjoy. Stay safe if you're in Florida with a tropical storm. And we'll see you guys on Friday.
Yeah, and with that being said, there we go. You're about to skip the outro.
Are you going to say it or no?
Well, I don't know your part. You go. There you go.
All right, hold on.
Redo.
With that being said, guys, thank you so much for tuning into Content is Profit podcast. Go ahead and follow the show on your favorite platform and on social media at BIZBROS.
That is right. And if you find this episode impactful and help you move one step closer to your goal, please don't forget to share it and leave a 5-star review. Let's go.
Bye, guys.